after they did that. Damn. Well, let's load. It's a very quiet afternoon as always. Since I can't go outside as myself, I have to match schedules with Mia when I go shopping. I've gotten used to it by now, so it's no longer a hassle. Because of this, I naturally have to buy things in bulk. Today I shuttled between shops and my home. I got this, I got that. Oh wait! Isn't it a 100 yen sale today? Oh, I forgot this. Being in a good mood, I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked in the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave it a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up there in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was a beautiful sight. This is fun, I thought. Being in such a good mood made me leave my guard down. I didn't realize the owners of the motorcycles were right nearby. They looked pretty scary. They grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. Then they called me all kinds of names. Everything was happening too quickly for me to grasp what was going on. The frick are you, bitch? What do you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bashing your head in, bitch. Gonna pay for what you did. Well, they really can't talk properly. I have no idea what they're saying. I had to translate their alien tongue into normal human words in order to understand. We are very upset because you knocked down our motorcycles. You should immediately pay for the repair and compensation. Yeah, that was probably it. That's our offer. What do you say? We'd be happy to listen to your opinion. Something like that? What did I sorry. I don't think I can continue interpreting. What you saying? I know what they're trying to say, but somebody has to warn them about the way they park their motorcycles. It wouldn't be fair to those who obey the rules if there was no punishment for those who disobey them. This is an accident, but it also must be God's will. But God, can you use me to punish these guys? But how will you compensate me later? I heaved a huge sigh. Of course, I wasn't afraid in this situation at all because it wasn't a dangerous one for me. These 3 guys were yelling at the top of their lungs at a girl. They didn't look good doing it, and they had many disadvantages. First, there were many differences in genders and the number of people. Even if I did something wrong as men shouting at a woman, it didn't make them look like they were right. Added to that, there are 3 of them. It already looked like it was going to get violent. Second, the location. Taking a girl into a dark, narrow alleyway is already a bad idea. On top of that, they're asking for money, not just an apology. Thanks to these facts, the public will be on my side. So this is a fight they couldn't possibly win. The only way for them to win would be to take my money before somebody finds out. Considering that, taking me to this narrow, secluded alleyway might have been a smart move, since fewer people will find out about this situation. Huh? You listen or not? I knew how slim of the chances they were winning were. From the very beginning, they had picked the wrong girl. I'm Sonozaki Mio now. It'd be foolish to mug her in Okinomiya. Soon enough, people in Hinamizawa would notice me and gather round. They don't spare mercy for their enemies, no matter what. The punks didn't know this area well. If they did, they hadn't known how silly it was to rob me. Plus, the alleyway isn't always as empty as they assumed. This side street is a shortcut which local people frequently use on their way home. In the late afternoon, many people will be passing through here. That time had almost arrived. If I held off a little longer, the street would soon be filled with people. Then the punks would have to go away. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to wait in order to win. This is a simple fight like that. While they could hurl abusive language at me or lift me by my collar, they weren't actually going to resort to violence. Cheers to the educational system for ingraining ladies first mindset. But as a wicked person, I wanted to toy with them a little bit, even though I could win this by waiting. I wanted to paint them as even more villainous and drive them into a corner that would be even harder to talk their way out of. That demonic desire was rearing its horns. To put it plainly, I only need to act as the poor, helpless little victim a little further, like the pathetic, pitiful, tragic heroine everyone wants to sympathize with. In a case like this, I shouldn't start crying immediately because they get nervous and draw back. If it were truly a threatening situation, that would work, but I needed something different here. I pretend to be strong at first. In fact, I thought, why don't I challenge them? And eventually I'd start trembling, my voice would fade, and I'd get tears in my eyes. It'd be even better if I played the role of a strong girl who's slowly giving in to fear. Mio and I are probably the only ones capable of pulling that kind of stuff off. Well, I'm probably better than her. Why don't you let me go now? I already apologized. I talked back with a little hesitation. Am I getting tears yet? Yes! By the way, I've heard men can't shed tears on command. By the way, I'm not a dude, but I also can't shed tears on command, even as a girl. I feel sorry for them. I cannot fake... I don't know how people can fake cry, because, like, that shit is the most burdensome shit of all time, because, first of all, why would you want snot in your nose and everywhere? I can't get rid of that shit. That shit's like a pain in my ass. So, yeah, in my case, I'm actually more similar to dudes. The three punks faltered a bit due to my sudden change in attitude, but they soon started yelling at me again. I had to keep it going. That way they blatantly look like they're picking on a helpless girl. Please, forgive me. I can't fake this crying. What you doing? What's going with this girl, huh? I don't... I can't... Maybe I should have apologized like that from the start. It looks like they were laying off a bit. Did I overdo it a little? It'd be boring if they let me go now. At that moment... Cut it out! Don't you see her crying? Stop it! A boy around my age appeared. He was skinny. He looked weak. He looked younger than he probably was. He also looked smart. He bravely glared at the punks. What the hell? Who the fuck are ye? Back the fuck off, Berg! The punks turned away from me to face the boy instead. Sorry, I can't be like Shion. How the fuck do you fucking fake cry? I can't fucking fake that shit. I don't fucking act. I just get immersed in the story. Just saying, okay? The boy looked a bit agitated when the punks started yelling at him. They sure were ruthless, but the boy must have known that from the beginning. He must have known he was going into a dangerous situation, yet he didn't hesitate. Fucking say something! Why don't you answer us? He must have wanted to shout back at them, but he probably never used that kind of language in his life, so he couldn't have expressed his feelings out loud. He might have not even known what to say, so he just kept glaring at them, to let them know that he wasn't going anywhere. The three punks, though, might have thought he was just lost for words in his fear, but I knew different. That boy was overpowering them with nothing but his will. The punks were losing, so they resorted to violence. They grabbed him and knocked him down. They hit and kicked and tossed him around. It looked painful, but I knew. It was his victory. In the end, local passersby stopped the punks. They made no further fuss and just went away. The boy stood up and he was covered in dust. He smiled when our eyes met. He asked me if I was alright. He didn't look particularly okay himself, though. How could you step into a fight you obviously How could you step into a fight you obviously couldn't win? Pick your opponents better next time. I hesitated at first. He laughed, saying that he was watching. From the beginning. That meant he had the option to walk away, but instead, he worked up the courage and stepped in. That was reckless, not brave. You were being a little harsh, Mion. You should at least say thank you. I saw you crying. No, I wasn't crying! That was just an act! Okay. Hey, you don't believe me, do you? Do you really think I'd cry? No. Nobody believed that Sonozaki Mion would cry when punks bullied her. Why are you laughing? You really don't believe that was an act? I'd never cry! I believe you. I do. I realized one thing. He must have been one of Sis's friends. He didn't seem to realize I'm her twin. He thought I was Mio with a different hairstyle. Mio and I had to live separately since before we went to elementary school. Mion was in Hinamizawa, and I was in Okinomiya. I lived in a totally different environment from her, so it's not strange that people don't know me. Actually, only very few people know I exist. I almost told him that I'm not Mion, but I managed to stop myself. Shion shouldn't be here. He's from Hinamizawa. It wouldn't be good if he saw a Mion look-alike in Okinomiya, so I had to act like Mion. Dealing with him would be more difficult than handling those punks. Well, I was just relieved because you seem to have a girly side after all. You sound hostile. What exactly do you mean by that? I thought you'd kick those guys' butts with some crazy martial arts, so I was really surprised when you just started crying. Hey! Like I said, I was acting! Weren't you listening at all? He gently put his hand on top of my head and stroked it as if stroking a kitten. I could remember somebody doing that to me when I was little, but it'd been quite a while since somebody stroked my head. I didn't know what to do. Why did it make me feel so embarrassed? My face reddened all at once. I couldn't say anything. Hey, are you making fun of me? I stuttered in embarrassment. He looked calm as if he was used to doing this. Whatever. Aren't you glad though? Glad? What do you mean? Well, you didn't get hurt. He smiled while stroking my head. His smile looked divine. He wasn't going to stay for long. He already saved me from those guys after all. Well, I need to be going, so I should head off now. Okay. I wanted to go through all the steps of meeting someone for the first time, but he didn't. As far as he was concerned, he just saved a friend from danger and wanted to leave quickly to avoid seeming pretentious. He and Mio must be friends who knew each other well, so I couldn't bring myself to ask, "What's your name?" Mion's friend smiled once again. He smiled as if refreshing a clear blue sky. This time, he smiled a bit mischievously. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody that you were crying. Well, nobody would believe it even if I told them anyway. Nobody would ever believe that our invincible class president cried. He patted the dust off his butt once again. He walked back to the sunny main road away from the dark alley. Then he turned around. See you. In school tomorrow, I mean. Yeah. See you in school. He disappeared into the brightly lit street. I continued to sit in the gloomy alleyway. I could no longer see him. I was just staring absent-mindedly at the bright light. That was the first time I met Satoshi. Ha 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 ha! Now it's starting to all come together! It makes sense, right? I'm not even allowed to walk freely under the sun. I met a boy on a sunny day. How come a perverse girl like me fell in love with his innocence? Notebook, page 5. Haha, see? Haha, what notebook tip appeared earlier? Haha, it's all coming together. Okay? Does everything make sense now? Okay? Does it all make sense? Is Watanagashi starting to come together? Now you know the doll reason isn't stupid, okay? It's something else. That must be Satoshi. He looks like just what you described. He has a bit of a habit of stroking people's heads. Uh-huh. His name is Satoshi, eh? The boy from earlier is called Hojo Satoshi. Mion says he's always daydreaming, so she didn't believe that he saved me at first. His little sister is always kicking his butt. Uh-huh. He has a little sister? Yeah, her name's Sadako. She's funny and shrewd, but is quick to cry when she's cornered. She's fun to watch, but things have been rough for her lately. So she's been feeling a bit down. His sister naturally came up in conversation. I tried to soak up every scrap of information about Satoshi. Why? Why am I trying to ask so much about him? As I asked myself that, the feeling I got when he stroked my head came back to me. I must have been blushing. Hello, Shion! Sorry! I'm here, I'm listening! To start, I hear Sadako's on bad terms with her aunt. Satoshi's mature, so he knows how to conduct himself, but when bad things happen, Sadako really lets herself go. What Sis told me was very interesting. She told me the parents of Satoshi and his little sister are dead. Satoshi and Sadako are now living with their uncle and aunt. They don't seem to be very respectable people. They're always fighting, and the uncle is cheating on the aunt. He mostly lives with his mistress. Satoshi and Sadako entered into that unwelcome environment. What surprises me the most is the fact that Satoshi's parents were the Hojo couple, who were the leaders of the pro-dam activists. That fact must have added something to the situation. I don't know what kind of stance the aunt and uncle took during the dam conflict, but they must have taken some indirect blows. Satoshi's parents died after bothering them so much and left them their children. The uncle and aunt obviously can't love those kids. Things have gotten worse this past year too. Women can be really nasty bullies. Sometimes it doesn't matter who they're bullying, even if it's a kid. On top of that, women tend to care less about propriety than men. As a result, Sadako seems exhausted with it all. I can imagine Satoshi bravely protecting his little sister, just like when he saved me. So, he must be exhausted too, right? Huh? He must be covering for Sadako all the time. So wouldn't you normally assume that he's also feeling worn out? Well, I don't know. Had I said something wrong? Mion sounded a bit taken aback, so that meant Mion can't tell how he's feeling, because he's always wearing that blank look, so she's never considered it. How can she be that insensitive, even though she's around him all the time? I was amazed to realize that. Well, anyway, what does he usually do? He looks smart, so does he read a lot of books? Oh, yeah, you're right. He likes to read. He now is reading, what is it called? I continued asking about him, about what he likes, dislikes, and what he thinks about. I asked Sis all these questions because I wanted to know more about him. It was the first time I've ever been that interested in somebody. I didn't want to admit that I had feelings like that. I just fall in love because of a stroke on the head? Am I stupid or what? When I remember the feeling of his hand on my head, my heart feels tingly. I tried doing it myself, but it didn't feel the same. I'm stupid. What am I doing, stroking my own head? Sis, I'm done for. I became stupid. What? Why are you laughing? In that weird voice. You wouldn't understand this feeling, sis. When would I see him again? I felt as if my suffocating life had finally grown brighter. So I want you to think about this. Shion is obviously living a life where she has to be forced to be sheltered. And if anybody knows what it's like to be sheltered, you can kind of feel like, yeah, it's suffocating. Especially when you have to hide and be secretive. Because I do live a life like that, where I have to be secretive, more sheltered. It's basically been most of my life. Yeah. I just thought, but yeah. For me, I feel like I don't care what people say about Shion in this arc. I am behind her all the way. The life I live was beginning to suffocate me. I couldn't go out freely. I always had to make arrangements with Mio before going to work. I thought my life would improve after escaping from school, but in reality, it wasn't that easy. It's not healthy to live like this for too long, without any friends to hang out with. I felt like I was hibernating. I started to feel the dangers of falling into boredom. All I could think of now was Hojo Satoshi's face. I only met him briefly, but my encounter with him had a great impact on my new life. It felt like something exciting was going to happen. Really, I felt like a little kid. The more I thought about it, I realized I've been thinking about him a lot lately. This might be a crush. I felt a little ridiculous idolizing him in such a romantic way, though. Then, out of the blue, I got a chance to see him again. Oh! I saw a familiar face at the twilight in the park. He was sitting on the swing. He looked like he was zoning out or maybe deep in thought. He didn't even notice me even though I was right in front of him. I reminded myself to speak and act like Mio before talking to him. Hey! What are you doing here?
Mion, you surprised me.
You don't look surprised. I've been standing here for a couple of minutes now. Didn't you notice me?
Have you? Sorry, I didn't.
He smiled self-derisively and shoved. He looked depressed, like something was troubling him. Is something bugging you? You can talk to me if you want. Maybe I can help.
No, that's okay.
Come on, I owe you one from before, Satoshi. Or maybe you don't think this old man can be of any help? Don't you know how muddy I am?
I'm okay. You don't have to help me.
Huh. What is it then? Are you saying that you don't need help from a girl? Thinking him unfair, I puffed my cheeks up in a rather sulky gesture. Satoshi noticed that and smiled.
No, Mion. It's just I messed up my swing when they needed me the most.
I mentally rifled through all the information that Sis had given me. He doesn't look like much of an athlete, but apparently Satoshi belongs to the junior baseball team. They called the Hinamizawa Fighters. I doubt he's very skilled, since I didn't hear much about his contributions to the team. Maybe that's why he doesn't tell many people that he's a member. Given how down he felt as a result of messing up, though, he must be fairly dedicated. I deduced all of that from what my sister told me, and carefully chose my words to sound like her. What? Are you feeling down just because of that?
Hey, it's not that easy to get over, Mion.
I pat his back while chuckling. Satoshi would probably call me insensitive. I knew I should listen to him, rather than trying to cheer him up. Acting like Sis was probably the wrong thing to do in this case, but I had no choice. This is just how she'd react in this situation. Instead of feeling down, you should practice even harder and aim for your chance, you know? Practice makes perfect here. Well, if you want to beat the opposing pitcher so badly, you're willing to put in some tricks, then I might be able to help you in a few ways.
There's no point if I cheat.
Satoshi hung his head after letting his regrets out with a big sigh. Surrender, defeat, resignation were all visible in that gesture of his. Are you quick to give up or persistent? If you're a man, then don't you want to be a star and have your 15 minutes of fame? Satoshi grinned and said yes.
Of course, that'd be wonderful, but that's not why I play baseball. I just have fun batting and throwing the ball. You can understand that, right?
This old man isn't sure. I only love games that I can win. I don't understand how you can love something when you can't be the best at it. That really sounds like you, Mion. Having realized that I'm trying to make him feel better, he laughed along. He didn't look depressed anymore. I guess he was just feeling down because of the game. He wasn't feeling as depressed as I thought. Maybe I just jumped to conclusions when I saw him sitting alone in the park.
You always put forth your best effort to win. That's admirable, I think. Yeah, it definitely is.
He smiled gently and stood up, and he started stroking my head. All of a sudden, I totally wasn't prepared for that. I thought this is when he did it last time, but how can he stroke somebody's head so easily? I felt like I'd turned into a little kid. Memories from kindergarten came to mind. My face must have been red. I felt embarrassed, but also like I was in heaven. Satoshi stroked me as though petting a cat. I was blushing with my eyes closed. I felt helpless, like a girl getting treated by the dentist with her mouth open and her eyes shut. Satoshi didn't seem to notice my feelings at all. He didn't seem to care. I hate him. My eyes still closed. I waited for him to finish. He suddenly withdrew his hand.
I need to get going. My aunt wants some stuff, so I have to go grocery shopping.
Okay? My voice faltered. I was so embarrassed. I'm going shopping too. What? You are? I thought maids did all your household stuff. Shoot, I messed up. In the maid Sanazaki house, the maids do everything. Holy shit, what the hell? Why is it not plugged in? What's going on, bro? What's going on? Shit, that one. Okay, there. It should do it now. Okay. In the maid Sonozaki house, the maids do everything. Therefore, Mio hardly goes grocery shopping. She'd brag to some people about that. I should have known better. Still, it shouldn't be too hard to find an excuse. I just happened to be in town, so I thought I'd help out with the household stuff. Is that a problem?
That doesn't sound like you. You always avoid doing boring stuff like that.
You talk too much. Oh, stop stroking my head. Satoshi seemed to having fun with how embarrassed I'd get when he patted me. Anyway, I managed to talk my way out of it. He didn't seem to really care about the details. While walking around with Satoshi in the shopping district of Kami-ishiki, it suddenly occurred to me, why had I messed up? I know Mio would never go grocery shopping. What an amateurish mistake. Did I make that mistake when I was pretending to be Mion? No. I was probably speaking as Shion. I couldn't keep lying to myself. I had to just admit. It was simply because I wanted to spend as much time with Satoshi as possible. It was easy to see why I was so attracted to him. I found something intriguing in my boring life, and I didn't have to feel tense because he thought I was somebody else, etc., etc. His easygoing nature made him fun to be around, and his habit of petting people on the head was fun too. From these symptoms, I could tell I was embracing the feeling of love. I was just casually enjoying that feeling. It wasn't that I fell in love with him. I was just having fun. I could simply spend some time with Satoshi without having to think too much. Which one's broccoli? The green one or the yellow one? That's cauliflower, Satoshi! Hey, could it be you can't tell lettuce from cabbage either? I'm not that bad. I'm doing my best here. Satoshi stared at the heaps of broccoli and cauliflower. After thinking for a while, he reached out for the wrong one. That's not it! Watching you shop is like being on a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun for me, though. You got me. Sadako can't tell the difference either. Which is broccoli and which is cauliflower? You guys are too funny. Sissa told me that Satoshi was a flaky big brother to his nagging little sister. I hadn't met Sadako, but she must be having a tough time dealing with Satoshi. He stumbles over everything he buys after all. That's cooking salt. It's mixed with pepper. It's different from regular salt.
Oh, is it? I think I saw salt and pepper separate in a science experiment once.
Stop making excuses and just put it back on the shelf. This is normal salt. What are you getting next?
You're being a great help, Mion.
You look smart, but you have serious issues. I think you should study more.
That's a little harsh. There. Is this it? In it goes.
Ah! That's not it! Don't just throw anything in the basket. Check the price and how many servings it has first. My first impression of Satoshi was that he was strong and reliable. But the more I spoke to him, the more surprised at just how clumsy and unreliable he was. How do I put it? It was hard to leave him alone. He was dangerous on his own. I am definitely more similar to Satoshi in this aspect. I am not similar to Shion at all. If he wasn't careful, he might start wondering, do you cross the street when the light is red, or was it green? And get himself run over by a dump truck. Your total is 1,780 yen. Do you have a member's card?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I do.
Where is it? Oh, sorry, we can't seem to find it, so we'll be alright for today. I finished checking out, ignoring Satoshi, as he fished through his wallet full of receipts.
That was horrible, Mion. You made me waste points.
Don't go slowly fishing out your wallet to look for your member's card in the middle of the evening shopping rush. There's a huge line behind us. Didn't you notice all the evil glares from the old ladies? Listen, at times like that, you should get out before reaching the register.
Oh, right.
That's good to know. It's not only when you go shopping. The same thing goes for when you ride a bus. Satoshi, I bet you don't open your wallet and start looking for change until you're about to get off and have to pay while holding up everybody behind you.
No, everybody walks by me and pays their own fare.
You know what that means? You're being a super huge bother to everyone. You need to have the money out beforehand. That's just good manners. Do you get it? Sorry, Satoshi. Sometimes I struggle with this too. Sometimes I'm a little more prepared. Okay. You're scary today, Mion. Satoshi smiled as if patronizing me. I couldn't believe it. He was definitely the type who made women want to protect him. Sure, he was fine, as he was when he had a busybody like me around him. But I couldn't stop worrying whether he was able to function in society without someone like that nearby. Yeah, I'm definitely like Satoshi. I can't function in normal society! Help! We got plastic bags and sorted out what we bought. Satoshi put a pack of tofu at the bottom of the bag. I slapped his hand and put a milk carton instead. Okay, there we go. Now your aunt won't freak out when she opens the shopping bag in her kitchen. Thanks. You helped me out a lot. I don't think I'm very good at shopping. Just shopping? That's definitely not the only thing! Just kidding. I had realized a few things while I was spending time with him today. He's not just bad at shopping, he's also chronically clumsy. Yep. In general, you could call him a slow thinker. Yep. Also, God, it would be even worse if he started bumping into shit and he got bumps and scratches and bruises all over, because that's totally me. You see me walking down the street, I'd be having scratches, bruises, and you're gonna be hearing me going, ow, ow. It's so embarrassing! That meant when he stepped into the quarrel with the punks, he must have needed a lot of courage. He might be a simpleton, but he's not stupid. He's aware of his own weaknesses, so he must have been aware of the danger in that situation. He could have chosen to walk away even though I was in trouble, but he chose to be a man and stepped in. It was really admirable of him. Good boy! You did a great job! There. What is it? Don't stroke my head. I'm rewarding you for shopping successfully today. There. You're making fun of me, aren't you, Mion? No, I'm not. Can you go home by yourself? Do you know how to get there? You are making fun of me. Satoshi's sulky face flushed red. He's just too cute. Oh, god damn! That's so embarrassing! God! Why am I so similar to Satoshi? Help! At this point, I caught a glimpse of a billboard from the corner of my eye. Piano lessons, call XX. Abacus class, junior baseball team members wanted. It was the posting for the team that Satoshi belonged to. It showed the day, time, and place of their next practice. By then, I knew just how flaky he was. I figured he just must be the same when playing baseball. Satoshi realized I was reading the posting. He looked uncomfortable and walked away. I know what you're thinking. Oh wait. I hope you won't come to see me playing baseball, Mion. Am I right? What does that mumbling mean? I know I'm right. Satoshi became quiet after mumbling something. It seemed like he couldn't say anything back since I had been right on the money. Satoshi, you're just too cute. I don't think I'm going silent is a good way to dodge the issue. Well, that just might have been the way innocent people like him would react to a situation like that. This is painful! No, that's embarrassing! God damn it! Freaking hell! Caught red-handed! Let's continue. See you, Satoshi! It's getting dark, so be careful on your way back! Aren't you going home, Mio? To Hinamizawa? I have to make a stop somewhere first. Don't worry about me. I'll help you this time, in return. I'm okay. What are you gonna help me with anyway? You should learn to support yourself before you try to help me. You're really mean today. He seemed to have some pride at least. He looked a bit upset because he was being teased by a girl, but in contrast, I felt very satisfied. As a result, I forgot to keep my guard up.
Thank you for the help. That was really sweet of you.
While wearing a bright smile, Satoshi suddenly started stroking my head again. I know he's teasing me, but I can't reject him. He's doing it only because he's realized I won't resist. Oh.
See you, Mion. You should go home before it gets dark. See you in school tomorrow.
Yeah! See you in school tomorrow, too! In fact, I wouldn't see him tomorrow at all. It felt awkward, but I had to settle for that. I had to thank Sis for letting me use her name. After being separated from him, I found myself giddy, wishing to see him again as soon as possible. I wanted to know more about him. I couldn't wait for my next chance to see him. Actually, maybe there was something I could do. Just like when I obtained my freedom from St. Lucia's. I could choose how to live my life. Whatever. It wasn't that complicated. I just wanted to tease him more. I wanted him to stroke my head more. And, whatever. I already knew the schedule for his baseball team. Damn, bro. She down bad for him. Satoshi is not my type. I am too much like Satoshi. We would be like dumb bitches and shit at Crumpled Diary. I'd probably like people more like Shion. So yeah, my personality is not anything like hers. Okay, I'm more similar to Rena in that aspect. Okay, or Rika or something. I don't know. Okay, that's why I'm inside, reading all the time, with no life. A Crumpled Diary. My aunt finally stopped her hysterical screaming. The day was just like any other day. I can't remember what set her off. Whatever it was, she changed subjects constantly anyway. It didn't matter. She went past midnight again. The urge to sleep was pounding the back of my head. Once Sadako had been able to relax, she fell down on the spot and started sleeping, still clinging to my sleeve. I carried Sadako to the bedroom and laid out our futons. Here, Sadako. Your futon's ready, so get in, okay? Sadako crawled in like a worm. She stopped moving once she was inside. I wish I could go to bed too, but I couldn't. My aunt asked me to do some chores. I had to get toothpaste after school tomorrow. I had to write it down somewhere. I had to make rice for lunch tomorrow. I set the timer. Right, I also had to repile the towels in the bathroom. That was the reason for today's scolding. My aunt will get mad if everything isn't done the way she wants. Oh, and there was something else. I was working at the grocery store the next day. They wanted me to bring an apron. Did we even have an apron in this house? I'd never see one. My aunt will be sleeping when I go to school, so I won't have time to ask her. What should I do since Mion helped me get that job? I don't want to screw it up. In that case, why don't I ask Mion about it at school? She might lend me one. Was there anything else? I was envious of Sadako because she got to go to bed. It was pathetic that I felt that way. Alright, let's end it tonight. Okay, we should be done. And we can just stop right there. Yep, and we're done. Thanks much. Bye.